I know that face. That's the face of someone who's been burned time and time again by someone who refused to deliver. Nintendo fans know their own. Come on, let's talk a little bit. If you are of sound mind and able body, you loved Breath of the Wild. You cherish your first experience with such a revolutionary, spiritually resonant game. You played and played and played until you beat it, and you began waiting for the sequel. You received a few treats in between, Link's Awakening, Age of Calamity, Skyward Sword HD, but even still, you craved something new, no longer treading old grounds, something worth marathoning, something culturally meaningful. And by 2023, Tears of the Kingdom released, to critical acclaim and cultural euphoria. Skip! Now it is 2024. You and your friends have come to the conclusion that Tears of the Kingdom, while fun, was ultimately a disappointment, a conclusion that many of us resonate with. Not everyone believes this, but the Zelda cycle is inevitable, and you shouldn't be ashamed to be a part of it. Many people mistake the Zelda cycle to be an irrational appreciation of what came before and a playing up of any flaws found in a new project. But that's not what it is. The Zelda cycle is the natural decrease of cultural hype, resulting in a clearer mind and more critical judgment. Breath of the Wild has been around for 7 years. People fully understand its shortcomings and its success now, but in the beginning, those flaws were seen as less and less meaningful in the face of the game's intense positive impact. And now that the Tears of the Kingdom hype has died down, people are slowly removing their rose-tinted glasses and recognizing the flaws, because it's easier to think reasonably when hype is at an all-time low. Are there extreme examples of the Zelda cycle? Absolutely, such as people considering the newest game the worst game of the franchise, simply because they couldn't fathom it having flaws on their first playthrough. But generally, all the Zelda cycle is a natural decrease in hype, followed by a level-headed re-examination of the latest title. In 2024, unfortunately, this cycle has revealed that Tears of the Kingdom is, for many, the weakest 3D title in the series, and has broken many people's trust in Nintendo going forward, somewhat including my own. I don't think Nintendo remembers how to do traditional dungeons. Tears' dungeons further evidence the fact that the Zelda team hasn't made a proper 3D dungeon in 13 years. I think Nintendo has lost the innovation race. They are no longer the masters of game design. So, what next? Do we wait another 13 years for them to learn how to return to the mechanical brilliance of the traditional titles? No, unfortunately, that would be silly. We all know we're never getting more of those. Rest in Murdered by Aonuma. But hope does remain in something Nintendo, in all their modern ineptitude, has never lost. Echoes of Wisdom may be leaving fans skeptical. It may turn a few heads with its strange mechanics, but I do not yet believe Nintendo has forgotten how to nail atmosphere. Breath of the Wild, for all of its mechanical faults, is not fair to comprehensively judge by its mechanics alone. When someone says, "I hate having to walk everywhere so slowly," all I hear is, "I don't enjoy the main appeal of this game," which is a fine opinion, but here's the point. Breath of the Wild was special not for its perfect design, but the atmosphere achieved by its environments and your ability to traverse them. To me, Breath of the Wild is near perfect Zelda atmosphere. Think of any Zelda game: Wind Waker, Majora's Mask, Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword, Ocarina of Time. What do they all share in common? Don't say they're all Zelda games. They all have a powerful, yeah, say it with me now, vibe. I generally don't like Tears of the Kingdom, but nothing compared to that euphoria of the first playthrough and the adventure associated with it. Sure, I realized flaws as I played, but I was blinded by the joy of the journey. Echoes of Wisdom may flop, it may totally stink, but let's take our critic hats off for a second, yes, even the chronically online folks, and ask one question. Do you want a fresh Zelda experience? If the answer is yes, to me, you have all the reason in the world to be excited for Echoes of Wisdom. Sure, you may not want the exact kind of experience that Echoes presents, that's totally fine, but for the less picky viewers, those who have no vendetta against new things and are okay with embracing the future while not forgetting the past, let yourself be excited for Echoes of Wisdom. Let your inner critic out whenever you want during your playtime, but take a breather. Sit down and just let yourself throw some caution to the wind and get excited. Rewatch the trailer 3 times and find the things you like. Drop your critical pretense and understand that there isn't a single bad Zelda game, and there likely never will be. Maybe you are not excited for Echoes, but for those who are cautiously optimistic, let this video serve as a reminder that your excitement is valid, and it won't be perfect. But It will be a new adventure, and with a new adventure, the culture comes back again. Zelda fans debate and express their enjoyment or disdain together. Memories are made. Common interest strengthens community bonds. Stop getting excited for the perfect Zelda game and start getting excited for the cultural union of a new release. And look, hey, if it's literally perfect, then that's a pretty good deal. I hope this resonated with at least some of you. Culture itself is divided beyond belief, and Zelda has been no stranger to that polarization, so it's more important now than ever that we gather under a common love for adventure. This link is to my Patreon. It's where you can go if you're interested in giving me the false hope of maybe being able to buy a house someday so I can keep making videos. And feel free to like this video if you're interested in boosting its influence and sharing some positivity in a divided time.